Parade of Champions.
And welcome to our Parade of Champions. We have a parade of people up here with us and along the parade route. John Holt, Harold Kuntz, Chris Del. It's been a while. Nice to see you. Pat McGonigal. These two knuckleheads I saw a lot of in Phoenix, so it's good to have you up here to keep us all in line. Welcome to the Parade of Champions, gang.
Hey, welcome, man. We just saw the flyover just a moment ago. It happened. We heard the crowd cheering as that flyover happened. It's just incredible out here. It's so much high energy.
You know, you can never take these for granted. We had one of these in 15 with the Royals, again in 20 with the Chiefs. We wanted one out of Tampa, but didn't get that one taken care of, and I'm not sure we could have had a parade anyway, given the health situation. So I think for everybody, this one is extra special. Patrick Mahomes, the MVP of the league, MVP of the Super Bowl, and here we are again with about 500,000 or so of our friends.
I've got an over-under on about 20 players, even though it's 30-some degrees out here. Shirts will be off, dancing on the street. I'm sure they'll be having the time of their lives, interacting with the kingdom. They've been waiting for this. I mean, this is what you earned. You earned a big party at the end. I mean, how many Coors Lighters these guys going to down today? That's another one. Where's the over-under?
That might be something you can bet on right there.
If you're betting in Kansas, there's a prop bet somewhere.
There is a prop bet right there on that one. That's good.
It's so funny because you guys were saying 3 years ago, guys were taking their jerseys off. They were, and it was bitterly cold that day. Little dusting of snow even. So today. I mean, the wind makes it chilly, but I think we're in for a show. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Indeed.
Well, we all remember the Travis Kelce show on the stage right behind us here back 3 years ago in 2020. I suspect by the time they get to that stage, yes, look out. And we will, of course, be very careful about what you hear at home just to make sure.
Yes, this is family-friendly TV.
That's
sure.
right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely. Well, Harold, there was a time we didn't think this was going to happen.
Man, you kidding me? I mean, I thought all along, right?
Sure you did.
Yeah, no. Well, I think the biggest doubt came when, of course, Patrick Mahomes' an ankle injury happened in the Jacksonville game. But Chad Henne, who's riding out on top, right? He's retiring. He's calling it a day, and he gets to celebrate with his friends at the end here. Comes out on that 98-yard touchdown drive, and that's when you knew it's like, all right, Andy Reid's Big Red's still there. And then Patrick came back. He showed the heart of a champion to come back, to get the Cincinnati win, and then they come back to beat Philadelphia. Keep this in mind. When teams were down 10.5, they were 26-1. That one was the Atlanta Falcons. Now it's 26-2 as Pat and Chris Steller look behind because we want to watch what's going on. Oh, we got another plane flyover coming.
There it is.
Yeah, I mean this is crazy. Yeah, so we got guys coming out. They already shot Andrew Wiley, who had a huge game. All the discussion about the Philadelphia Eagles defensive line, Andrew Wiley stepped up in a huge way along with Orlando Brown at the tackle position. So they came up huge in that game. I mean, if it wasn't for Mahomes being MVP, you might think he was the MVP of the game.
By the way, for those of you who remember 2020 and this throng of people, they did not have to grease any light poles.
Yeah.
This is a very fun and family-friendly event, and in fact, in 2020, the Kansas City Police Department said it made 5 arrests, and 2 of them were in that car, that rogue car, which came down Grand way before the parade started. Thankfully, nobody hurt. The other was a guy who fell out of a tree.
We all remember that guy.
Yes,
he's a social media star.
We think these kinds of crowds, this Chiefs Kingdom crowd, is in the very best behavior. All right, up first, the cheerleaders and the band. By the way, it's going to be a while before we see the players. We have a lot of other folks who will be along, politicians, and right now it's the cheerleaders and the band you're seeing.
About 43 vehicles in total. But I was going to say, when you talked about safety and police, they told us that they learned a lot from that parade to make changes to adjust to what's happening here. And so what's happening here today. Let's bring in Carly real quick. Hey, girl.
Okay, so I'm getting some reports from where we are on the parade route. 9th and Grand right now. We have the cheerleaders. They're making their way down. Some of the players, some of the Lamar Hunt family are all, the trophy, I should say, is making its way down the boulevard. It's just a crazy morning. And cheerleaders are on the route. Players are about to enter. I'm going to keep you up to date on who's where, when, and why, and all that, because you guys are chit-chatting over here, and you have your backs to what's going on behind you, which is organized chaos in some way.
You see that flyover though?
Yeah, I got a video of it. It was really cool. So
That was cool.
yeah.
That looks great.
You know, the funny about the Vince Lombardi Trophy, some of those guys on the plane ride back were, you know, putting a little beer and go down, and it's like maybe hopefully they cleaned it up before then.
I'm so
make
glad
sure it's
because
good,
you
yeah.
know one question I asked about, was it in a seat? Did someone hold it on the plane? So now I know.
It's a team effort. It's a team effort.
Everyone's buckled up. Safety.
Yeah,
Exactly.
buckle his seatbelt. I really
You got to
wondered
have
about
all
that.
three phases work. You got to have somebody holding the trophy. You got to
Somebody
pour the
taking
beer down.
shots.
Then you got to make
Yeah.
sure it goes right. Yeah.
So it all
team
works
effort.
together.
Before you seem to
Maybe
experience.
maybe
You
I have
seem
a
like
little
you
experience.
experienced
Yeah, you never know.
Well, you remember Tom Brady.
Well,
with
that
the
came
pass
up.
We talked
He's
about
throwing
that this
it.
morning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you know, when you win
Parade
so
on the
many
water,
of them,
right.
John.
And Mayor Quentin Lucas, when he was joining, he said when Andy Reid handed it to him, he was so careful, you know, to use, you know, there was no Tom Brady, you know, stuff with Mayor Lucas.
Right.
Okay, and I just got a little update. The double-decker buses with some of the players starting to make their way onto Grand Boulevard
Oh,
now. So we are
just
getting
in time.
some of the players starting to make their way down.
Great.
I hear
It's
Mayor
not
Lucas,
a
too.
really, really
Man,
long
we were just
route, so
thinking about
hopefully
it.
they'll be here pretty soon. But, you know, a little after 12 and we're getting things going.
You know, this parade would be a lot shorter if you just had 3 or 4 buses with players and called it good. But, you know, there's a few other folks who like to be in the
Yes.
parade as well. And
Yes.
I know what's John. I mean, going back to 2020, I mean, Kansas City waited 50 years for that kind of party, and now here again, 3 years later, doing it all over. It's incredible.
yeah, no big deal. This is just another Wednesday in the kingdom, right?
That's right.
Oh, that.
That's right.
Right.
Of course not. You
Exactly.
can never take these for granted.
Yeah.
As many Super Bowl champions will tell you, the Chiefs in rarefied air now with the 2 and 4 years. So yeah, you look back at the dynasties of the past, New England, Washington, the 49ers, what they wouldn't give to be having this parade
yeah.
right now.
Yeah. I mean, we've heard Kelsey say it several times. You got to fight for your right to party, right? And boy, did they put on a fight today, and that's why they're celebrating.
That song has become kind of an unofficial theme song
That
for a lot of.
is
You know what other song has become an unofficial theme is Red Kingdom. I feel like it's been on repeat at my house. My kids want to hear Tech over and over and
Tech
over, and I
Nine,
just
yeah.
found out he's performing.
Today.
Today.
He was downstairs
Yeah,
earlier.
feeling?
He's walking over, and
All
he'll
right.
be performing a little bit later.
Marcus
so.
Officer's at 5th and Grand. He's
Yeah.
going to perform for us right now.
Oh,
Marcus,
yeah.
what are you
Marcus.
seeing?
He always gives a good performance.
Yep, we're rolling here. We've been on 5th and Grand all morning long. Now we got the team personnel buses rolling through, a couple of the players. The fans have gone absolutely crazy from about 11 till now. The energy has picked up, and it's obvious why. The 2022 World Champions are making their way down ground. This is a very, very long line of folks. On these buses, you got team personnel, you got the folks behind the scenes that help make sure the players are taped up, ready to go. You got the equipment guys. We've seen their media team just pass by on a bus. Casey Wolf is kind of leading the way. And now we got a lot of folks waving, a lot of folks going crazy in the crowd. Hats are being tossed out. But here in a little bit, towards the tail end of this, is when you're going to see the stars of the show. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. They'll be rounding out this very long, I guess we can call it procession, or for the sake of it, we'll call it party. But these people are going absolutely crazy, and for good reason. 2020 was great. 2022 is appearing to be a lot better, but we're at the beginning. We can't tell you how much wilder. It's getting further down Grand. Folks are starting to come alive again, and we'll check in as best we can, but we're probably a couple of minutes away from seeing the most infamous Mohawk and red mustache in Kansas City, which is Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. So we'll check in with you guys in a little bit, but this is our view from 5th and Grand.
All right, Marcus Officer with a great view from 5th and Grand, seeing some of the sights and scenes right along the parade route.
first to
I think
see it.
he has a better seat than we do, actually.
Yeah, I know.
At the moment.
I'm like
Yeah.
the first to see all of the sights.
Yeah,
and
we've got
sounds.
reporters on site everywhere, so whenever they get past an intersection where one of our reporters are, we'll be sure to give you the little play-by-play of what's going on. It's funny, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are obviously going to lead the way, but that's what Andy Reid always does. The first person coming off the plane with the Vince Lombardi Trophy in hand, Andy Reid, of course, with his wife Tammy, and then everybody followed suit. I mean, Big Red is the guy. He always says he's got 51% of the vote, so I think he had 51% of getting on the front of the line there, so he can get this over with and get home.
You know, the theme that you kept hearing over and over from the players too is, and Andrew Wiley tweeted it himself after his exit interview with Big Red, these players wanted to win for him again. Travis Kelce talked about it. They love this guy. And so when Andy Reid said post-game that he was shooting down Jay Glazer's report, that he was going to be back, there was a collective kingdom sigh of relief.
I think we have a shot of the Lombardi Trophy. We're going to go back to Marcus.
Go back to Marcus Officer. He has a shot of the Lombardi Trophy. Marcus?
And guys, the 8-pound sterling silver party planner is here. The Lombardi Trophy is on Grand. We see it shining in the downtown backdrop that is Kansas City. Clark Hunt holding the Lombardi Trophy. This is the scene everyone wanted to see. For the third time in Chiefs history, for the second time in 4 years, the Lombardi Trophy is in Kansas City, and it's making its way onto Grand. I can tell you, the noise level once that shine came off of that football, absolutely, I mean, if there was a roof here, it exploded. This is the excitement, this is the time everyone's waiting for, but now we're starting to see Chiefs legends, and very soon we will see the 2022 Kansas City Chiefs that earned that Lombardi Trophy. We talked about it at the start of the season. The team had potential, but we didn't know how good they could be. They answered all of those questions and more. The D word has been thrown around a lot, dynasty. Are they a dynasty yet? We don't know. 2 and 4 years is pretty good. However, they are built to win many more Lombardi trophies. How many more parades like this can we have? Who knows? But now we have Harrison Butker, who sealed Super Bowl 57's win with that 27-yard kick on the back of this bus. And just take that in, guys. I'm just gonna let you listen for a little bit. Here we go. And that's just Harrison Butker, guys. They're going crazy, and just wait until they see Travis Kelce and the rest of the bunch. I can't even tell who's on this bus, but it doesn't matter. Everyone on this bus played an important role in winning this trophy. Super Bowl 50.
All right, he mentioned Harrison Butker.
Yeah.
You got to give that guy some credit, given what he
have to
went through
give
throughout the season, struggling with the in the middle of the season slump after he came back from the injury. But when it mattered most in the playoffs, he was almost perfect. He had the one doink, in the Super Bowl, but was vindicated with the splitting the uprights with 6 seconds to go, and of course got us to that point by the kick against the Bengals.
And you know, you got to point out too. We talked about everybody wants to see Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, but I think it's also important to give those rookies, Nick Bolton and Isaiah Pacheco, those that stepped up in that halftime game.
Rookies, the safeties and corners. I mean,
the
cornerbacks.
Everybody.
You
that
think about the guys that are rookies that had to step up. Guys like Joshua Williams. And guys, and other guys in the secondary. I mean, Brian Cook, who was a drafted rookie. 10 rookies were drafted, 8 made significant contributions. Trent McDuffie's another one as we see them now. And we're going to head back to Marcus to believe. And Marcus, you've got some eyes on some of those key players out there.
Chris Jones is living up to his name, Stone Cold. He just chugged a beer and threw it, guys. We got some WWE level pandemonium going on. Chris Jones knows how to party. He also knows how to play football. He's pretty good at it. He's been a key part of this 2022 Kansas City Chiefs team. So we've seen the defensive backs drive through. The defensive line is making their way. We have, of course, the DJs coming, music truck, and now coming up is going to be the offensive line that did an amazing job making sure the bum right ankle of Patrick Mahomes went untouched in Super Bowl 57. 0 sacks allowed against one of the best defensive front lines in all of football, especially this past season. They are getting showered with love. Some fans are getting showered with beer, and it's okay. I don't think there's any kids drinking, but they may have some alcohol in their hair, and that's because these buses are going wild. The people are going crazy. Let's see who we got on this bus. We just got a lot of goggles. So incognito mode on this bus. And then behind them, who do we got here? This is just, I think this is more behind the scene, folks. But again, the team is starting to make their way through, and we're very, very close to seeing people fall down on a seat. That's why you wear a seatbelt or sit down on a moving vehicle, guys. But also seeing Patrick Mahomes and company. So here, beer shower. Beer shower, there it is. That's the type of party on 5th and Grand, guys. That's coming your way right now.
All right. That's great to know, and you mentioned those young guys. I'm just looking at the stats from the Super Bowl. McDuffie, 5 tackles. He had that forced fumble that was scooped up by Nick Bolton, and it took it into the end zone. And Brian Cook with 6 tackles in the playoffs total. Joshua Williams, just a kid in a candy store, right? A kid out of Fayetteville State, drafted in round 4. and he's playing a key role in the Super Bowl. It's just amazing what Brett Veach put together.
Yeah, they did. We just saw some pictures of Orlando Brown earlier as they cue up the song. Getting ready for this big, massive sea of red out there. But yeah, we saw Orlando Brown in the mink coat with the cigar. I mean, yeah, he's ready to go. I mean, they're all ready to go as they get closer to Union Station.
Looking down, you can see everybody's trying to grab a spot. People are in bushes out here trying to find a good spot just to get a chance to see as this parade goes by. It's just great energy out here.
A sea of red.
Good. It's just a sea of red. It's good stuff.
I think we're seeing Clark Hunt again with the trophy and some of his cohorts.
You know what I don't miss? EAGLES.
Oh yes, they were loud,
that, didn't we?
They were loud
I don't
in
see
the
any
desert.
green in this crowd. It is a sea of red.
I was thinking about the Guinness record for Arrowhead Stadium, just wondering what the decibels are out here
Oh, my
today,
word, I know.
during this rally, what it will be.
Such a cool sight.
We had a chance to talk to the mayor this morning, and we asked him about what was it like to hold that Lombardi trophy, and he was just like fanning. He said it was just unbelievable. He's like, I didn't want to hold it for too long because I didn't want to be that guy that dropped
you don't want
the
to go
trophy.
viral.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. But he was like, it was just incredible. He said he didn't even think that he would have an opportunity to do that, but he was like, when Big Red handed it to him, he was like, my goodness.
Yeah, it was funny because he also, Mayor Lucas, when he was talking to us this morning, Crystal, he reminded me of something Governor Mike Parson told us last week at the Super Bowl experience. He said, in my years as governor, I've been able to go to the Super Bowl 3 times. 2 they won, 1 they lost, but no other governor can say that.
Right.
And I said the same thing to Mayor Quentin Lucas. I was like, there aren't any other American mayors who can say in their first term, their city won the Super Bowl 2 times and went 3. And I think he kind of hinted that he had something to do with that. So I think he was trying to score some votes.
Let's get you down to Marcus Officer. He's got Travis Kelce's bus. That's a rockin' bus, Marcus.
Okay, guys, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, and the whole show are now making their way on Grand. Travis Kelce just gave his mama a big old hug. She's been getting a lot of attention, as she should. She had 2 boys in the Super Bowl. If that's not great genetics, I don't know what is, but Patrick Mahomes is on the back of this bus holding, looks like the AFC Championship trophy, but this has been what everyone's waiting for. They are now moving through Grand. He's got a big silver football and the WWE Championship belt around his waist. The only thing he's missing is the people's eyebrow, but he is the people's champion here in Kansas City. This Sea of Madness has been absolutely great to watch. 2020, 2022, to see this turnout, to see this support in person both times is great. I think they've been throwing candy, hats, clothes. We saw a Gritty up and down the street. Now Travis Kelce is out shaking hands with a handful of fans that are on the front row. That is we all know Travis Kelce knows how to dress, and he's wearing white right now. Let's hope he doesn't spill anything on that. But Travis Kelce's walking, saying his thank yous to the fans. And this is just the beginning of it, guys. You're seeing the crowd now start to disperse. I have a feeling you're going to have a wave of energy making its way down to Union Station, because Chiefs Kingdom is not done partying. They are not done celebrating this. So be on the lookout, be ready, but also look out for throwing beer bottles. There's a lot of drinking happening, as it should be.
Marcus Officer live. We know Kathy Quinn. She's been out here all morning, and she's been meeting a lot of interesting and good people in Chiefs Kingdom today. So Kathy Quinn, she's live at 11th and Grand. Kathy, what are you seeing right now?
What am I seeing? What are you talking about? Guys, look what I'm seeing. I'm seeing Clark Hunt, and I see the trophy just going by, and people were going crazy. What did you think about that?
I love it. I love it.
It was crazy. We've been waiting for that. That trophy is Kansas City's for another year, and we're seeing, oh my gosh, we've seen staff, we've seen players go by. What's your favorite part so far?
Us winning.
That's winning, that's right. Yeah, so we're waiting now. Of course, with everybody. Oh, wow. I think Bobby Bell is there. That's Bobby Bell. So, obviously, just wonderful time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
All right, so we're waiting for more folks. I think we've had about 20 or 22 of the floats go by, and this is just, is this incredible or what? But when you see that trophy going by, okay, who do we have now? Who is this now? Who's next? All right, here we go. We're taking a look at some more. I think these might be some players. What do you think, guys? Oh, this is the defense. See, I know football. I know football. Yes, they are. They are. Big round for our defense. Oh my goodness. Yes, they are. As they go by, they are our team, and we are a family, aren't we?
Hell yeah.
Yes, we are. All right, guys, so where we are right now, everybody's got their cell phones out. They're trying to get pictures. And as they see everybody driving by, oh no, okay, so who do we have next? Who does this look like? More players.
Here we go.
More. There we go.
Yes,
from between 11th and 12th and Grand. Oh, look at that. What a beautiful day for a parade. Right here by the Grand. And people have been behaving because this is great. Kansas City is great. So tell us, we've got security with us right now. How's it going so far?
It is going excellent. It's so beautiful out here to see everybody out here together having fun. This is what we played for. This is what we got, and we're loving it.
And thank you for taking care of us, too.
You're welcome, Kathy.
All right, here we go. So more.
Out with you, okay?
Hanging out. You hang out with me. You can come on over. So, guys, here we are between 11th and 12th and Grand. As people are just going crazy. This is wonderful. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right,
Back
Kathy Quinn at 11th and Grand right now. And yes, there's, I'm looking at a tweet with Travis and his mom.
Let the games begin.
The parade making its way down toward Union Station. We should remind our viewers that we're going to be here throughout the rally itself. The rally is at 1:45. That's when the players, I believe Mitch Holthus will MC it approximately. And they'll have a chance to give their shout outs to their teammates and to the Chiefs Kingdom, and that's when it always gets even more entertaining. But I don't think anybody is the warmth and the excitement of being here again this year has everybody.
I don't know,
feeling good.
Travis Don is here,
Well,
so
that's
he might have to be on his best behavior.
Good point.
We don't know.
Oh, yeah, this is true. we were talking about this morning about would we see the WWE?
Well, the WWE belt is Patrick Mahomes has it right now.
Oh, he has it.
He's got the belt.
So we was wondering if we were seeing it.
He's got his MVP trophy in his hand. So, he's got one more hand for the beer, if need be. So, he's got everything occupied.
You know what? He can have whatever he wants.
Yeah.
By all means.
No, and I'm so excited.
I think that goes right to say.
Exactly. It looks like they're set up for a concert. Unlike 3 years ago, they just had sort of a platform. It was a good show, but this time it looks like they're really going to ramp up the theatrics. Well, it seems to me.
We have a little experience in putting these on now. So,
that's right.
That's what's coming.
And Kathy Nelson of the Sports Commission here in Kansas City had said more than once, we learn from the past, and we're the shuttle system of getting people down here. We'll know more about how that worked later, but they definitely did take advantage of the fact that they've held a Royals parade in 15, a Chiefs parade in 20, and now another Chiefs parade in 23.
And think about all of this with Kathy and the Sports Commission is all of this in preparation for April as the NFL draft comes. And
I know.
All of this preparation helps them prepare and have a better understanding of how things will work and how things will flow
It's
in
true.
April.
We're the center of the NFL universe until April anyway. All eyes will be in here. And the other thing I keep thinking, guys, when I see the little kids, and there's a lot of them because the kids are out of school, with the Mahomes jerseys, little 10, 11-year-old kids, like they just are growing up in a world where this is normal. Like, of course the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? It just tickles me to think, I hope they realize at some point how blessed they are.
Kindergartner, you've seen 2 Super Bowl rings. My goodness.
Set the standards high.
Yeah, if you're 70 years old, you've seen 3. So.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Set it high. It's certainly a great feeling out here. It's just so good to see, families out here. I was saying this earlier. The spirit of KC is just so high because I was talking with people and employers just saying, hey, we're going to give you paid time off to be here and to enjoy this. And right now we're seeing a picture of the mayor, Mayor Quentin Lucas, coming down right now and is waving to the crowd right now, and he's excited, man. He's pumped, We talked about this too with him earlier, how he's been able to witness this under his mayoralship. 2 Super Bowls.
I know.
Let's get down to Malik Jackson. He's along Grand as well. And what are you seeing, Fresh? What do you got down there?
Fresh.
Hey, I see ya.
Yes, we're on top of Messenger. We're on top of Messenger Coffee here between 16th and 17th and Grand Boulevard. We've seen the mayor already. He got out of his off of his boat, out of his car, and ran through the streets shaking people's hands. We've talked to fans that have been here since very, very early in the morning. The excitement, the anticipation, steady building as the day has progressed, and now fans are waiting for the stars of the show, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Kids up here, the moment that they've been waiting for to give the appreciation to this team, a team that's put so much hard work in and has brought back 2 trophies in 4 years as this parade continues down Grand Boulevard right now. Again, we're on top of Messenger Coffee right between 16th and 17th and Grand. And if you remember back to 2020, it is when Patrick Mahomes, right here where we are on 17th and Grand, threw a beer off of his bus that he was on. A fan attempted to catch it and ran into a parking meter. It was a moment that went viral on the internet, so hopefully he's interactive and throwing things to fans like he did then, but this year hopefully no one gets hurt. As you see another bus coming down here, passing us right here at Messenger Coffee, right here at 17th and Grand Avenue. Guys, back to you.
All right, and we're just now getting our first look here at our location of the very beginnings of the parade. We talked about maybe a half hour ago or so of the cheerleaders. We're seeing them live make the turn on to Pershing. So again, the parade coming down Grand, if you're familiar with Kansas City, into the Crown Center area and now into the Union Station area.
Clark Hunt family. So now we're getting first into some of the personnel here, the cheerleaders and the band, as they started off the parade earlier, and now they're coming here. I mean, you forget how many people are involved in this. All the behind the scenes people. I mean, they're going to get rings too, I'd imagine, because they're just a part of this. And we're also starting to see some of the fans flow from down Grand over here to be with everybody.
Because that's what will happen as they come down from the River Market. They will make their way down to Union Station to be there for the rally. That's, again, expected to start around 1:45. So there are the cheerleaders we see. We see confetti throwing. I just want to tell you, excuse my English, that ain't snow. That is the confetti that is being thrown right now. We'll deal with that tomorrow, but it's a different type of rain today.
Some of the players are now in the street. Is that what I'm hearing?
Chris Jones in the street.
Oh, of course, Chris Jones and Frank Clark are out in the street. That makes, they're some of the guys that are the most hype on the defense there, John, Christel and Pat. I mean, they're always out there. Chris Jones, whenever he enters the field, he goes out there, addresses the crowd first, make sure he gets them hyped up. And he's doing his best to get them hyped up tonight, or today.
Frank Clark seems to come to life in the playoffs. I know he only had 1 tackle in the Super Bowl, but man, coming off the edge, it definitely put some pressure on the Eagles.
When you think about Frank Clark, he's 3rd all-time in postseason sacks. He just passed Reggie White. So, I mean, his postseason stats are Hall of Fame worthy.
They really are.
Yeah.
He got off to a slow start this season, but certainly made up for it down the stretch. And again, and we'll talk about this, Harold, a decision to be made on Frank Clark and a number of other players as well.
I don't think anybody's thinking about that now, John.
Nope, I don't think so either.
About celebrating right now.
Well, Brett Beach might be. You never know.
Look at that. We see just jumped off the back of the truck here, waving those flags. And Chiefs Kingdom right there with them, waving back. We've got steppers, drill teams over here as well. We can see right down below us.
Best part
and they're still moving in.
I think we might be seeing the Vince Lombardi trophy here soon.
And this is a good stretch. This is a really good stretch of this parade. Seeing how long it takes them to come. We saw Marcus at 5th and Grand. And so we see just how long it takes them to make their way down to Union Station.
it's got to be a really cool experience for these guys as they drive into this massive,
to see the massive crowd.
Chiefs Kingdom here.
And Harold, I mean, Chiefs Kingdom has been here since last night.
Oh, absolutely.
They've been
You're
here since
ready
last
for a
night.
party. Seeing some members of the city council here pass by.
Well, if you're going to have a parade, you've got to have a politician or two, right?
Yeah, that's true.
There it is.
You know, it's cool outside the street here. We have a nice little dance and drum group going on.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm trying to see what
everybody's
that
partying.
sign says. KC, looks like it says KC, not Harmony. Can't really make what it is, but it is a drill team.
Now we see the mayor, I believe. Yep. Now we see the
There's
mayor.
Mayor Lucas, yeah.
He's coming out, high-fiving everybody. Looks like he's got a little bit of energy today.
He's pumped.
He's
He
pretty
is
pumped
He's
up.
like a kid.
Yeah. And I love the Jackson County legislature here. They're almost making the back of the truck here bounce up and down with how active they are. Probably because they're trying to warm up more than anything. So now we're seeing the cheerleaders and some of the band members. They are now exiting right to the right here of Union Station. And they're about to run onto the stage here. And so we're just going to see a bunch of people start to make their way to the stage once they get exited here. Again, to the right of Union Station's entrance. They have a nice stage here. And we'll get set for the show shortly.
These parades never get old, do they?
No. They never do.
You just embrace it and soak it in, whether you're here or watching at home or at work or streaming online. We're glad to have you along for this 2022 season Super Bowl parade in Kansas City. The Chiefs, champions of the world.
Harrison Butker just took to the streets. I think we had a shot of that.
You know what? He deserves it too.
He does.
Yes, it
Right?
does. Yes, it is. We heard from the assistant fire chief this morning, Mr. Jimmy Walker, and he talked about, they didn't want to talk about superstition, but they had actually started planning a few weeks before when they saw the AFC Championship and how they started putting plans in place. They had been working on this for a couple of weeks because they just didn't want to talk about it.
Right.
But they had planned because with this type of crowd, you have to plan. So they've relied on several other departments in the metro to come down to give them a hand, ambulance services that are on hand too, so to make sure
Eric
people
Bieniemy
are safe.
Yeah, Eric Bieniemy. I mean, interesting with him. We don't know if this might be the last one he's with. He's still in contention for some jobs elsewhere in the NFL, but I'm sure he's not trying to think about that now. He's trying to enjoy the moment here, along with the rest of his the brotherhood here, that is the Kansas City Chiefs. But you think about him and Eric Bieniemy, some of the play calling he made during the Super Bowl. Andy Reid credited him after the game with a lot of those touchdown designs with Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore, and the corn dog play and everything that they came up with. I mean, Eric Bieniemy's behind that, and it's a shame he doesn't have a head coaching job with as much as Andy Reid's pushed for him, John, to have a head coaching job. But hey, if he wants to stay in the kingdom and continue to win championships, that's all well and good too, right?
He can do that, or some speculate that maybe he needs to break away from Andy Reid. I know the Commanders, he's in line potentially for that offensive coordinator gig. A couple of other teams have shown interest. So, you know, he'll have to sort that out, he and Andy Reid. But I will tell you, I heard those same comments from Big Red. He really was out there endorsing him and his role in that Super Bowl win and in the play calling. And Eric Bieniemy, the Colorado Buffalo,
Right,
back in the Big 8 days.
I think I
Now
heard we're taking
an
another
offensive
live
coordinator
look.
who has 2 rings.
Another live look at the Lombardi Trophy.
It's getting very close to it coming over here. I'm sure the thing is the players are jumping out and, you know, talking to the fans and enjoying their time. So they're going to slow things up a little bit, I'm sure.
High fives,
But
high fives, interacting
it's
with
their
the
party,
fans.
so they can do whatever they want. Steve Spagnuolo, now the defensive coordinator.
Talk about dialing up a defense at just the right time. You know, during the season, again, there were questions about Spags, and you know how the fans are and the radio talk shows. At the end of the day, that defense came up huge. With those young guys he had to work with, mesh into the system.
Well, you think about the second half of the Super Bowl game, John, and how, I mean, the Eagles had seemed to have a little bit of momentum carrying into the half of that 10-point lead, but then they hold them to essentially, they would only hold them to 3 points with the exception of that one long pass play to Devontae Smith. But how critical they came up in the second half was huge to the success. And again, he dialed up a great one in the AFC Championship game. Let's not forget how crucial the defense was in the AFC Championship game and how they came through. A lot of people thought, okay, that might be the part where they might play below average. Instead, they played above average, really. They ended up being top 10 defensively as it progressed, especially when you get into a lot of the analytical stats there. So it was really a good performance from Steve Spagnuolo and his crew. And hats off to him and his defense.
The one concern everybody had, was Jalen Hurts' mobility and trying to contain him. And as it turns out, he got his yards. He was the team's leading rusher. 3 touchdowns and an extra 2-point conversion. But at the end of the day, the defense got it done. It's getting real loud.
Man, now we got some beers flying. There we go.
They got to Union Station, so it was a little break here. But we saw the representatives, and now they are passing that trophy back and forth.
Yeah, now we're seeing Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid here. And I mean, you talk about Jalen Hurts' injury. I mean, we said it ad nauseum about Patrick Mahomes' injury and how he prevailed through it. It's good to see that Andy Reid said afterward that it should be okay, he should be ready for OTAs. And I mean, if there's anybody who deserves to take some OTAs off because they're voluntary, it is Patrick Mahomes. But he's so, meticulous and wants to make sure that he gets everybody in page. You never know what the receiving crew is going to be next year, but I would say for them, the OTAs might start in Dallas again when he gets them all organized and ready to go, because that was so critical to their success, getting them in Dallas, getting them organized. I got the chance to talk to Louis Riddick of ESPN. As we're seeing champagne flowing here. Don't drop it. Don't drop too much stuff out there. Yeah, but it's critical how they got him down in Dallas with Juju and MVS and Justin Watson and Sky Moore and that new group of guys.
And then to pick up Kadarius Toney midseason. Again, a key player down the stretch when he was healthy. The 65-yard return, longest in Super Bowl history, that set him up. And we are now getting our first look as a crowd at Union Station, which has waited patiently.
Right now, guys, y'all see that?
Here come the players.
Here the players come. I think we saw Patrick Mahomes holding his MVP trophy.
Bobby Bell went for one of these too, a little bit earlier, obviously, back in the 70s when they won that first Super Bowl title. Sometimes, John, we seem to forget that there's 3 Super Bowl championships. And now we see Patrick Mahomes, beer in hand. Now he's getting good. Now he's ready to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Not sure on if that's first or second or third here. Right? He has a beer, right?
I think more than third, Mr. Helmet. We'll see.
Oh man, listen! This crowd is so excited.
I mean, if we look at the hill back here, I mean, you might not be able to see it, but the hill is now completely gone up to all the way up to the World War I monument, and it's up there now.
But look at this.
And we're seeing people trying to get any type of view. Now they're in the trees trying to watch this, trying to get a nice little aerial shot. But be careful, of course, when they're up there. We'll as we continue to see. Okay.
Someone just threw a beer to him.
So now they're having some fun. Now they're locked in.
But the city is
This is
just
the crowd.
so excited to celebrate. And you can just see, just as they come by, just how wild the crowd goes.
Just like them looking this way. I can't.
This is the crowd.
Oh, we got
that's
somebody
waited
on a
long.
lamppost.
Yes,
I'm hearing
this
we're
is the
at-
crowd that's closest to Union Station, so they've waited the longest. These folks in this area right here get a chance of the parade, get to see the parade, and also just kind of turn to the stage to Union Station. So it was kind of a sweet spot for them, as some of the folks back there on the hill just didn't really get a chance to see the entire parade. But we'll have a good glimpse of the stage for the rally coming up at 1:45.
For those of you not familiar with Crown Center, this is Pershing, and they are now westbound toward Union Station. It's our understanding they will gather for a brief lunch inside before the actual rally begins. So it sounds like Spags is in the street now, making new friends. And the defensive coordinator holding the Lombardi Trophy. Wow, what a moment for those fans.
You know, I just wanted to just take a moment because we've seen them come in, they've on the buses, but the families, you know, a lot of sacrifices are made for this organization, for this team to do what they do, and a lot of it could not be done without the support of their families, so they are here celebrating with them as well. And it's a victory for them as well.
Confetti flies here as well.
Earlier, Carly, I said that ain't snow.
That's the right color snow.
That's the right color
for sure.
snow, right? That is the right color snow for sure. There are some more buses coming as they make their way down to Union Station, again turning onto Pershing. And right now, Frank Clark holding that 8-pound sterling silver Lombardi trophy as he is waving and cheering to the fans. And I think we've got a few players that are jumping off of those buses that's headed this way. You know, you talked about that, John. 2020 was a little bit different because of the pandemic, but now we're hearing that they can get off the bus. They're shaking hands with the fans and interacting with them, something that was really limited during the pandemic.
Well, there was some talk, Christelle, that had they won in Tampa, there would not have been a parade. That was in the heart of the pandemic. So in many ways, this is a make good, and the fans are loving every minute of it. I'm not sure who's having more fun, frankly. The kids, that is the players, or the fans who have lined the streets of downtown Kansas City, now into Crown Center and Union Station, where a rally will take place. On stage, we'll hear from the players, Clark Hunt and the Hunt family, and they are enjoying every moment of this for sure. It was Lamar Hunt, their father and grandfather, who brought this team from Dallas to Kansas City, played in the very first Super Bowl, although at that time it was not called the Super Bowl. It was Green Bay, Kansas City, and Los Angeles in the Coliseum. Packers won, and it was Lamar Hunt who coined the phrase or term Super Bowl. And now his family, his franchise, has 3 Lombardis. Of course, named after the great Hall of Fame coach, Vince Lombardi. Lamar Hunt's name adorns the AFC Championship trophy. And the Chiefs waited 50 years to finally get their hands on one when it had been named the Lamar Hunt Trophy. 2019, that season, they finally brought that trophy home.
it's interesting, John, how I was alluding to earlier, you know, we seem to forget there's 3 Super Bowl trophies for this organization. It's just now starting to put them up in the upper echelon of organizations who have won Super Bowl championships. And we forget sometimes the Super Bowl was named because of Lamar Hunt.
Right.
And now Clark Hunt gets to celebrate the second one under his tenure as owner.
And the MVP is on the street, we are told, shaking hands and high-fiving and having a great time.
So I'm gonna let you talk about this because this is what I've heard about what happened with the Royals Parade in 2015. But we have a view right now of I-35 right now, and it is backed up. But if you look closely, we can actually see people on the interstate right now because we see red and parked on the interstate of I-35 right now. People are parked on the ramps, they're telling us right now. I just took a look over there to see that.
It's quite a sight. I think you're stuck in that traffic and you're trying to get somewhere.
It was quite a sight. It took me aback for a moment. But I remember you guys telling me the stories about the Royals Parade in 2015 where
there
this
were
happened.
literally people who abandoned their vehicles to get down to the parade. And they have since learned, the Sports Commission, the city, that providing mass transit can maybe alleviate some of that problem, and hopefully it has today. As the players continue to make their way toward Union Station, Patrick Mahomes on the street, a number of other players, Chris Jones. There's Superman.
That is Superman. That is
a lot of the players on the street now, as you're seeing live from Crown Center.
Forgive me, John. I ran into Crown Center to try to find some binoculars. I forgot my binoculars at home. I was not successful.
Or a porta potty. I wasn't sure where you'd gone.
Binoculars. I wanted to see, I left them at home. I thought maybe one of the toy stores, but no luck.
All right.
We see, a little bit of a gap in between the buses because a lot of the players, again, are getting off the buses and doing high fives, shaking hands, and interacting with the Chiefs Kingdom. So we see kind of a gap in these buses.
All right, Malik Jackson is standing by now. He's got a good vantage point. Malik, did you get a high five from the MVP down there?
Yes, we're right here on top of Messenger for the last 10 minutes. The Lombardi Trophy has gone from coach to player, and they're going along the routes of letting the fans touch it. Imagine being a Chiefs fan all your life and getting the opportunity to touch that Lombardi Trophy. Nick Bolton, who made a huge play in the Super Bowl, just had it as he walked along this parade route. Of course, we saw the defensive coordinator, Steve Spagnuolo, getting out, interacting with fans. Players have been getting off of the buses, going and signing autographs, talking to the fans. This is a really cool moment for the city, and you can tell they're getting them hyped, getting them excited for obviously the stars. Now what we're seeing right now is the defensive backs. And if you can look at that float, I think my photojournalist Grady Reed is gonna zoom in on that float, but once he pulls that shot back, you can see most of them have gotten off of their bus and now are in the street, interacting, excited, jumping with the fans, and that Lombardi Trophy is still in the street. The fans are just as excited as the players, and the players are just as excited as the fans. This is a really cool moment for the city, a moment that we've waited for 2 years, but it's really cool to see the Chiefs bring back home the trophy now. And again, the defensive backs are coming through right here between 16th and 17th and Grand. Most of them are off of their bus down on the street celebrating with fans, and you can hear the crowd every once in a while just get excited. You hear the roars, you hear the screams, the excitement. Obviously the defensive backs coming up huge across this playoff run. Rookies stepping up, making the plays that needed to be made when they needed to be made, and now they're getting their moment to be with Chiefs Kingdom, to celebrate this amazing, amazing occasion, which is a Super Bowl, a championship parade downtown in downtown Kansas City. Back to you guys, and we'll stay here locked in, waiting for Patrick Mahomes.
Well, the defensive backs, we're told, are now out in the street. That young core, Thornhill, Reed. Reed was the pickup from the Texans who came up big throughout the season, but it was the young guys, Harold, the diaper dandies, as Dick Vitale likes
Fab
to say.
Five, yeah.
But by the time they got to the playoffs, to a man, they said, we're not rookies anymore.
Yep, the Fab Five. I mean, you think about them: Joshua Williams, Trent McDuffie, Brian Cook, Nazeeh Johnson, who was mostly practice squad the entire season, and Justin and Jalen Watson, who came up huge in 2 games. Remember week 2 when they won that Thursday night game, the interception return for a touchdown. He had an interception in the AFC Championship game with a broken hand. How huge they came up, but had they step up with so many injuries that happened, especially when Trent McDuffie went out, those 2 guys had to step up. So, or when L'Jarius Sneed was in concussion protocol, they had to step up during the AFC Championship game. So many significant contributions from those rookies, but especially the Fab Five, as defensive backs coach Dave Merritt called them throughout the season. How great it was for them in their rookie year. Now they're Super Bowl champions.
Isn't that something? Yeah.
That's the standard they know, John.
One year you're playing at Fayetteville State.
Yep.
The next year you're in a Super Bowl parade collecting a ring. Unbelievable for those guys. And Trent McDuffie, suffered that injury in week 1 on the turf at Glendale. I believe went on injured reserve, was out for a number of games, but came back strong, got tested early. The MVP enjoying a cold one.
I'm hearing we're getting a
I
shot
think
of
every
Patrick
time-
Mahomes
every
enjoying
time-
himself.